Hello, 7th graders. Okay, so today's notes, it's kind of hard to like see it in pictures, like with notes. So there's not a ton to write. You kind of just got to listen to me explain it a little bit and imagine it in your mind. So I'm actually, the notes I didn't print out today because you can easily look at these on Google, okay? So as we're going, you might want to just kind of jot these definitions down, okay? But I'm going to kind of look at the different pictures while we're going through, okay? So if you're on page 124 of your textbook here, let me zoom out a little bit for you guys. Okay, we can see we have a cylinder, right? Okay. Now, we know the radius of the cylinder is the radius of the circle. I'm actually going to zoom you in just a bit here so you can see us. The radius, all the way across, would be the diameter. And here's the height, okay? Now they're talking about the curved surface. The curved surface is like when you make, like when you roll up a piece of paper, and you can't really see me doing this, can you? Okay, when you roll up a piece of paper, like this would be the top of the cylinder, this would be the bottom of the cylinder, and if I unrolled it, that would be the curved surface, okay? So just the area around this guy, okay? So just some things to notice. I think you guys have all noticed this about a cylinder before, okay? Now remember we talked about the net yesterday, so that's if I unrolled it and flattened it out. So the curved surface would be the rectangular part, or the parts all the way around the cylinder. And then the tops that are circles and the bottom that is a circle, right? So that's what it would look like. Now notice that the distance here is actually would be the distance around the circle, right? Or the circumference, okay? So this base length actually equals the length around the circle, okay? The circumference. All right, now on to cones. We're just supposed to recognize cones a little bit here. Let's see if I can get this going a little better for you. Okay, so again, the cone starts, the little point at the top is called a vertex, just like with any of our angles, okay? The height, okay, we talked about this kind of with our square pyramid yesterday. Okay, the height is all the way from the top vertex all the way down to the center of my circle. And you guys can't really see. I'm sorry, the light is terrible in here. Okay, and then the slant height is like the diagonal height of the cone, okay? And then the base radius, okay, just like with our cylinder. And again, the curved surface is if I were to wrap it around like the ice cream cone, right? The ice cream cone, right? So if I were to wrap my cone around, okay, the curved surface is the outside of my cone, okay, not including the base. Okay. And the net of a cone, so like if I were to like cut my ice cream cone open and sit it down here, the bottom of it, which is the circle, and then this is like folded out, right? Okay, so just a flattened out cone. It's got a little angle, so like this would be the vertex of my angle, right? So it makes sense that the tip-top point of my cone is also a vertex. Okay, again, just something you gotta look at and know, okay? Recognizing a sphere. You guys have all seen a sphere. You've seen basketballs and soccer balls and any other kind of thing that you can think of that is like this, okay? So a sphere. So every point on the surface is equal distance from the center of the sphere, okay? So the center of the sphere, we have our radius here, right? If you cut it open, you'd have two hemispheres, just like with a globe, okay? That's another sphere. Okay, so you guys know hemispheres from Mr. Z's class, I'm sure. Okay. Now, we're going to talk about some cross sections, okay? And these are where these two words come into play. So a plane is a flat surface that extends infinitely in 2 dimensions, okay? So a sheet of paper, okay, that's a plane, okay? Or a wall, that's a plane. And a plane actually goes on forever in every direction that it's hitting in, okay? So like this piece of paper, that would be a plane, right? Because it's flat and crosses through. Now when a flat plane slices through a solid, like a sphere or a cone or whatever, it creates what's called a cross section, okay? So when I cut my globe in half, what kind of shape will be in the middle of those two? And it'll be a circle, right? Because if I just slice it and open it up, it's a circle, okay? So like if I look at my cylinder and I cut, this is a cylinder, okay? If I cut it open, right, you see a circle, okay? Or like this would be my cross section, it's a circle, okay? So this is where I can't really draw it very well, and I didn't have any Play-Doh on me to help you guys see it. So if I look at this first pyramid, if I put a piece of paper through it, or like I cut it with a piece of string and took the top off, I would be left with a square. So the cross section, when it's parallel to the base, is a square. So every time I could cut it lots and lots of times. So I would keep getting these weird squares, okay? Now if I cut it a little differently, like if I cut it top to bottom, Okay, so like if I took the piece and cut it off the center of the vertex and cut it all the way down, I would get a triangle out if I like cut it in half and looked at it, okay? So that's the cross section. So you're just slicing a piece of it and seeing what happens, okay? Again, I don't have any good things here, but you can see that kind of in the picture. Now if I were to cut a rectangular prism, if I were to cut that in half, I'd get a rectangle out, right? Because it's rectangles on all sides. And even if I cut it down this way, it would still be a rectangle, right? Now if I did the cross section of a triangular prism, okay. Oops, sorry, you guys can't see that. If I cut it parallel to one of the bases, okay, it would be a triangle still, okay? So you kind of look at the shape of whatever it's parallel to, and that tells you what shape it's going to be. Again, even if it's perpendicular to the base, this cube is going to have a perfect square, right, left when I cut it in half, okay? So again, here's just some more. Again, if I cut the rectangle, I'm going to get a rectangle. If I cut a square pyramid or a rectangular pyramid, I'm sorry, I get a rectangle if I cut it this way, but if I cut it this way, long ways, I would get a triangle, right? Which is actually what this next example shows. Okay. And a rectangle, if I were to actually cut it diagonally, a cube diagonally, I would get a rectangle out because it's going to be longer on those other two sides, okay? So just something to think of. So today's activities is you're going to match the shape with its net. So we talked about the net yesterday, okay? So if I were to fold these pieces up, which one would it match up to, okay? And again, there's some more. So it's actually 1 through 8. Oh, no. Oh, I'm sorry. You're supposed to name the solid that goes with each net, okay? And then a couple other questions asking about surface area and things like that, okay? So go ahead and try that, see how it goes. Behave for yourself. When you are done, please go on Khan Academy. I will see you tomorrow. Bye.